Hey everyone, and welcome to a deep dive that will totally change how you view your own brain.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be exploring this idea of neuroplasticity,
Okay.
which is like the brain's ability to rewire itself over our entire lives.
Right.
And, forget that old saying about you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Absolutely.
Our brains are way more dynamic than we ever thought.
Yeah, it really is a revolutionary concept, you know?
Yeah.
The old belief was that our brains were pretty much fixed
Right.
after a certain age, but now we know that the brain is constantly changing, adapting, and making new connections.
So it's not like we're stuck with the brain we're born with.
Right.
We can shape and reshape it.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But how does this rewiring actually happen?
Well,
What's going on?
imagine your brain as a city with billions of neurons as buildings
Okay.
and connections between them as roads.
Uh-huh.
And every time you learn something new, think a new thought, or experience something new, you're essentially building new roads or strengthening existing ones in this city.
Okay, that's a helpful visual.
Yeah.
But what's happening on like the cellular level?
Yeah.
Are we like growing new brain cells?
That's the amazing part. Yeah. You know, for a long time, scientists thought we were born with all the brain cells we'd ever have.
Right.
But research has shown that we can actually generate new neurons throughout our lives,
Real.
particularly in a region called the hippocampus,
Okay.
which is super important for learning and memory.
Mm-hmm.
And this process is called neurogenesis.
Okay.
It's one of the key mechanisms behind neuroplasticity.
So we can actually grow new brain cells.
We can.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought that was a myth.
Right.
That totally changes how I think about aging,
Yeah.
learning.
Yeah, it really challenges that traditional view.
Uh-huh.
But you know, neurogenesis is only one piece of the puzzle.
Oh.
Another key element is the strengthening of the connections
Okay.
between the existing neurons.
Got it.
This is called synaptic plasticity.
So it's not just about growing new cells. It's also about making those existing connections stronger
That's exactly right.
and more efficient.
You got it.
Okay.
Think of it like this.
Okay.
When you learn something new,
Yeah.
it's like creating a path through a forest.
Mm-hmm.
The more you practice and engage with that information, the more well-defined that path becomes.
So repetition is key.
It is.
Practice makes perfect.
That's right.
But why does repetition work so well?
So when neurons communicate, they release these chemicals called neurotransmitters
Okay.
across tiny gaps called synapses.
Uh-huh.
And the more frequently those signals are sent, the stronger that connection becomes.
Ah.
This is called long-term potentiation.
Got it.
And it's the basis of learning and memory.
So the more we repeat something,
Yeah.
the more those connections get stronger and more automatic.
And this brings us to habits.
Ooh, yeah.
Habits, good and bad,
Yeah.
are basically well-worn neural pathways that have been strengthened through repetition.
Right.
Think of them like superhighways in your brain. The
Mhm.
more you travel a route, the more automatic it becomes.
So breaking a bad habit is like trying to reroute traffic on a busy highway.
That's a great way to think about it.
No wonder it's so hard.
Exactly. It takes conscious effort and practice to forge new pathways
Right.
and weaken those old unwanted ones.
So if I want to change a habit, I need to create a new pathway and then travel it repeatedly
You got it.
until it becomes the new default.
That's right.
Okay.
And this is where understanding repetition is so important.
Okay.
Simply repeating something isn't always enough.
Uh-huh.
The key is spaced repetition.
Spaced repetition.
Yeah.
I've heard of that, but I don't really get it.
So you space out your practice sessions over time
Okay.
rather than cramming all at once.
Got it.
This gives your brain a chance to really strengthen those connections.
So instead of practicing for hours at once,
Right.
I should spread it out over days or weeks.
Exactly. Research has shown that spaced repetition is much better for long-term learning.
And just
Interesting.
and memory. I've always been a crammer,
Yeah.
but I guess that's not helping my brain.
It might not be.
So if I space out my study sessions, I can actually learn and remember more.
It's about working with your brain's natural rhythms.
Wow.
There's even a technique called the Leitner system.
The Leitner system,
Okay.
which uses spaced repetition to maximize learning.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah,
This whole concept of spaced repetition is amazing.
it is.
It makes you think about how we can learn better
Yeah.
and with less stress.
That's the power of neuroplasticity.
Right.
It gives us the tools to learn better and more effectively,
Yeah.
whether it's a new language,
Mm-hmm.
a musical instrument,
Uh-huh.
or just breaking a bad habit.
This is incredible. I'm seeing how I can use this in my own life.
That's great.
But before we get ahead of ourselves,
Sure.
we've talked about how neuroplasticity is most prominent in childhood.
That's why kids learn so fast.
Right.
So does that mean our brains become less adaptable as we age?
That's a common misconception.
Okay.
And it's not true.
Good.
While it's true that it's more adaptable during childhood,
Okay.
it doesn't just disappear when we become adults.
So even as adults, our brains can still change and grow.
Absolutely, neuroplasticity continues throughout our lives.
Wow.
It may not be as fast as in childhood,
Yeah.
but our brains can still make new connections, learn new skills, and even generate new neurons,
Wow.
even in our later years.
So it's never too late to learn something new.
That's right.
Or even change those old habits
That's right.
that we thought were stuck with us.
The brain is a lifelong learner.
That's amazing.
It thrives on challenge and novelty.
Uh-huh.
In fact, engaging in mentally stimulating activities
Yeah.
is one of the best ways to keep your brain healthy
Right.
as you age.
This is so empowering.
It is.
It means that we're not just, stuck with what we're born with. Or what happens as we age.
Yeah,
We have power to shape our brains
absolutely.
through our choices and actions.
That's one of the most exciting things about neuroplasticity.
Totally.
It gives us agency over our own brains
Yeah.
and empowers us to become lifelong learners.
It's so inspiring.
Yeah.
I feel like stepping outside my comfort zone
That's great.
and embracing new challenges.
Yeah.
But before we jump into all the ways we can harness this power,
Uh-huh.
let's take a quick break.
Okay.
When we come back, we'll explore some practical strategies for boosting our brain power
Sounds good.
and enhancing our learning.
Great.
Stay tuned.
All right. Welcome back. I'm excited to dig into some ways we can use this power of neuroplasticity.
Me too.
Yeah.
We've talked about the theory.
Yeah.
Now I'm ready for action.
Yeah.
What are some of the best ways to give our brains a workout so they can thrive?
Well, we already talked about spaced repetition.
Right.
And things like the Leitner system.
Uh-huh.
But beyond that, there's so much more we can do.
Okay, let's hear it.
One of the most powerful tools is mindfulness.
Mindfulness.
Yeah.
I hear that a lot, but
It's more than just a buzzword.
okay.
Studies show that mindfulness can actually increase gray matter in certain parts of the brain.
Oh, wow.
The parts related to learning memory and emotional regulation.
Wait, so just by taking a few minutes each day
Yeah,
to focus on my breath or my body, I can actually change my brain.
that's what the research says.
Wow.
Mindfulness helps calm that busy mind,
Okay, yeah.
reduce stress and improve focus,
Makes sense.
all of which contribute to a more adaptable and resilient brain.
So by being more present and less reactive,
Exactly.
we're kind of making our brains more ready to learn and grow.
You got it. And the benefits aren't just mental.
Oh.
Mindfulness can also reduce anxiety,
Really?
improve sleep, and even boost your immune system.
Wow. Okay, I need to start doing this more.
You sure?
What else can we do to strengthen those connections in our brains?
Well, losing a new language is a great workout for the brain. It challenges you on so many levels and really forces your brain to adapt.
I've always wanted to learn Italian,
Oh, yeah?
but I always thought I was too old.
You're never too old.
Really?
In fact, research suggests that learning a new language later in life might actually be more beneficial
How so?
because it forces you to break out of those old routines
All right.
and really work those brain muscles.
Well, I shouldn't let age stop me.
No way. Embrace the challenge and be a beginner again.
Okay. I'm feeling inspired.
Good.
What about other activities besides languages?
Well, picking up a musical instrument is another great way to challenge yourself.
Uh-huh.
It involves coordination, memory, auditory processing,
Right.
and fine motor skills,
Okay.
all of which stimulate different parts of the brain and
Right.
promote neuroplasticity.
I used to play piano when I was younger.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I should try it again.
You should.
But what if I'm not musically talented?
It doesn't matter. The point is to challenge yourself
Okay.
and engage your brain in new ways. Even if you don't become a concert pianist,
Yeah.
just the process of learning will benefit your brain.
Got it. Okay, so music and languages.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Don't underestimate the power of physical exercise.
Oh, exercise.
Yeah.
I know it's good for my body,
Yeah.
but I didn't realize it was good for my brain too.
Oh, studies show that regular exercise increases blood flow to the brain,
Okay.
boosts production of neurotrophins.
Or what?
Neurotrophins.
Okay.
They're proteins that support neuron growth.
Right.
And exercise can even stimulate neurogenesis.
So exercise is like brain food.
Exercise is so important for maintaining cognitive health, improving memory,
Right.
and overall brain function.
It doesn't have to be super intense, right?
Yeah, nope.
Yeah.
Even moderate exercise like walking or dancing can
Right.
have a big impact.
Okay, I'm going to have to get moving more.
You should.
So we've talked about some good things we can do.
Yeah.
Are there any techniques to help us learn better and make those brain connections even stronger?
Have you heard of the Pomodoro technique?
The Pomodoro technique.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's a time management method.
Okay.
You break down your work or study sessions into focused intervals, usually about 25 minutes each,
Okay.
separated by short breaks.
So instead of working for hours straight,
Right.
I should take breaks.
Exactly. It helps you stay focused,
Yeah.
prevents mental fatigue, and helps your brain learn better.
That makes sense. It's like
And-
giving your brain a break to process everything.
That's a good way to think about it.
What other techniques are there?
Another one is called interleaving.
Interleaving.
Yeah.
Okay.
This means you mix up different subjects
Okay.
during your study sessions
Got it.
instead of focusing on one thing at a time.
So instead of an hour of math and then an hour of history,
Right.
I should switch back and forth.
Exactly. It makes your brain work harder
Okay.
to retrieve information,
Uh-huh.
which strengthens those connections.
So it seems like the key is to challenge ourselves.
Get out of our routines
Uh-huh.
and try new things.
That's exactly it. Our brains thrive on novelty and challenge.
Right.
By pushing ourselves, we're giving our brains the workout they need to grow.
Wow. I'm realizing how much control we have over our brains.
We do.
It's exciting, but also kind of scary.
It is.
So we've talked about learning and growing,
Yeah.
but what about healing and overcoming challenges?
That's another crucial aspect.
Right.
It's not just about learning new things.
Right.
It's also about healing, adapting, and thriving in the face of challenges.
Can neuroplasticity really help us bounce back from setbacks?
Absolutely. It can. Think about it.
Okay.
Just like we can strengthen pathways through practice,
Uh-huh.
we can also weaken the pathways that aren't helpful.
So we can actually rewire like negative thoughts or bad habits?
Exactly like pruning a garden.
Okay.
You choose which pathways to nurture and which ones to let go.
I like that metaphor. But how do we actually do that?
It takes effort, but it's possible.
Okay.
Therapy is one way, especially something called CBT.
CBT.
Yeah, cognitive behavioral therapy.
I've heard of it.
It really uses neuroplasticity to make changes.
Oh, wow.
Well, CBT is based on the idea that our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are all connected,
Yeah.
and that if we can change our thoughts, we can change everything else.
Interesting.
So you identify and challenge those negative thought patterns
Uh-huh.
and replace them with more helpful ones.
So it's like getting rid of bad thoughts and planting good ones.
That's a great way to put it.
And by doing this, we can rewire our brains
Exactly.
to be more resilient.
That's right.
This gives me so much hope.
It should.
Even if we have bad habits or negative thoughts,
Yeah.
we can change them.
That's the power of neuroplasticity.
That's amazing. It's not just about mental and emotional well-being, is it?
Right.
I've also heard about it with physical rehab.
Yeah, like after a brain injury,
Uh-huh.
the brain can often rewire itself to make up for the damage.
So even after something traumatic, the brain can heal and reroute those pathways.
It's really amazing. The brain is incredibly resilient.
Wow.
And through rehab and therapies that use neuroplasticity,
Uh-huh.
people can regain lost abilities.
That's incredible. It's like the brain has this superpower to make things better.
It does. The more we learn about it, the more we see what it can do.
It's a field that's constantly evolving.
That's right.
This whole conversation has been eye-opening.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's changed my perspective on what's possible.
That's the power of understanding how our brains work.
Right. We can be active participants in how our brains develop.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up, what's the one thing you want listeners to remember?
I want them to know that their brains are not fixed.
Okay.
They're dynamic and adaptable and can change in amazing ways.
And that we have more power over our brains
Yeah.
than we think.
Exactly.
It's about having a growth mindset,
Right.
believing we can change,
Uh-huh.
and being proactive.
I love that. By understanding and using these principles of neuroplasticity,
Yeah.
we can unlock so many possibilities.
Well, this has been a fantastic deep dive.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us.
It's been my pleasure.
And to our listeners, we hope you'll take what you've learned today and use it.
Yeah.
Challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Try new things.
Uh-huh.
And never stop believing in the power of your brain.
Your brain is a work in progress,
Absolutely.
and it's never too late to start shaping it.
Keep learning, growing, adapting, and healing.
That's it for today. Keep those brains buzzing.